presentation of HBO Sports.
Hello again, I'm Jim Lampley. On March 18, HBO pay-per-view takes you to sold-out Madison Square Garden for the latest make-or-break installment in the shoot-the-moon career of Kazakhstan's middleweight knockout sensation, Gennady Golovkin. 23 knockouts in a row and counting, 18 of those in title fights. The American opponent, once beaten Daniel Jacobs, has his own streak, 12 knockouts in a row coming in. You may be familiar with some of Jacobs' recent exploits, most notably his stunning first-round knockout of former middleweight belt holder Peter Quillen last year in Brooklyn. But to show you some earlier context from Jacobs' career arc, we take you back to the night when he proved he could box well enough to enter the upper tier of the middleweight division. The scene was the Toyota Center in Houston. The opponent was veteran gatekeeper Ishe Smith. And Bob Papa called the fight with Max Kellerman and Lennox Lewis.
Smith has been against some good competition in his career. He had wins against David Estrada and Randall Bailey. Losses to Yoel Julio, Sekou Powell, and Sergio Mora in the Contender. And we begin round number one. Smith with the bald head. Jacobs with the braids. Lennox, what are you looking for? Jacobs told us in our meeting yesterday, he said, look, I don't vision this guy as a big threat, meaning Smith. He might make me look bad, but he's certainly not going to beat me.
No, I mean, Jacobs has all the attributes of a great puncher boxer, and he uses his reach well. I mean, when he came out and he started with the jab, and this is what you need to do. He said he's been working on throwing a lot of punches, and, you know, might as well start in the first round like he has.
You did bring up a good point during the fighter meetings when they talked about the fact that they want about 100 punches around, but it's more than just volume, isn't it, Lennox?
Well, it's accuracy and, you know, making sure that you're making a statement in there. You don't want to just throw 100 punches and not hit anything or hit the guy's arms. You want to be able to hit him. But right now, he's not really wasting too many punches.
Jacobs suffered a hand injury, left hand injury, in his stoppage of George Watson last time out back on June the 26th in Arizona. Says the hand is fine. George Walton, excuse me, fought Mike Walker in the fight before that and won an 8-round decision.
Jacobs was the best amateur in the New York City area for about the last 3 or 4 years of his amateur career. And recent New York products have fared, or have underperformed, I should say, in the pros compared to their expectations they created in the amateurs. A lot of times it's the influence of the streets in New York. Danny Jacobs seemed to have his head screwed on straight.
Jacobs turned southpaw for a second. Don't really like when boxers do that. They should really stay orthodox unless they really practice that in the gym. But Ishe Smith hasn't really done anything. You know, all he's done is follow Jacobs around the ring, and he hasn't really even, you know, thrown a jab or a right hand. He's just really waiting for that right opportunity where he has Jacobs against the ropes and seizes that opportunity, but needs to be throwing a lot more punches in there.
Smith double hooks to the body. One of them was a little low. Referee Lawrence Cole lets him know he saw it. Smith claims to be a renewed fighter, working with Eddie Mustafa Muhammad. This is their third fight together after the Yoel Julio loss. He parted ways with Roger Mayweather. They feel it's a new Ishe Smith. We'll find out over the next 10 rounds in a relatively nondescript first round.
You're not pumping the jab. We talked about stepping in 2 and 3 jabs. Stop going 1 jab. He's trying to come over the top. Okay. Double and triple jab and skip your way in. Stop walking. Okay. Skip your way in. Sit down and both hands to the body. That's all you got to do. All right. And when he goes, just cut him off. Put this foot over here and cut him off. Okay. Right hand around the hip. That's all you got to do. Left hook to the body. Everything's perfect.
Looking good. Stay sharp. Let's work more on those up shots in the middle.
Take that deep breath. Another one.
You the man. Let's pick up the pace.
You know how we do. Punch you off the block.
Yep.
He's jumping in. You catch and you just turn it. You're going to run right into it.
Let's go. Good work.
One area that you're going to want to keep note as we begin round number 2 are the jab numbers. Jacobs was 8 of 23 for his jabs in that round. Smith was dominated in the jab category in his loss to Sekou Powell. He just could not deal with it and could never get any offense. Now he says with a different trainer it's going to make a whole difference for him. Lennox, he talked about wanting to be a pressure guy, referenced Tiger Woods numerous times. He goes, I want to be that guy that makes that 18-footer like Tiger. And he has me very prepared. I'm ready to take care of things and put it all on the line. Didn't necessarily see that in round number 1, although it was just the first round.
No, it was the first round, given the first round, but he has to get things going. You know, one thing is to be able to talk about it. The next thing is to be able to do it, and this is what we want to see in the ring today.
Ishe Smith just landed his first real punch of the fight. It was a left hook. Danny Jacobs started this round, as you mentioned in the first round, Lennox, southpaw. I wonder if that's an indication that he's trying to protect that left hand a little bit.
Well, he may be showing Ishe Smith some different angles and stuff. I don't like the fact that when he throws some punches, he ends up in the corner and allows Ishe Smith to come after him. He needs to stay off the ropes. Because that's the only time that Ishe Smith throws some punches is when he's on the ropes. In the middle of the ring, he's doing way better.
Good combination to the body by Ishe Smith with a right and then a left. It doesn't seem like Jacobs is really snapping that jab.
Well, he needs to snap it and put some power behind it and step into it. Right now, his feet are really all over the place. They're not really balanced.
Well, he's got to find an answer for Ishe Smith's left hook that's found a home in this round.
Jacobs did tap a right hand to the body there. Smith picked off the rest of it.
Ishe Smith is really not throwing that many punches. Very sparing with his punches.
Good combination there from Jacobs.
And you see the punch that he really snapped off there, Jacobs. It was the right hand, Bob.
Come on, pick him up, Smith.
Smith blocks most of that combination. Corner of Jacobs saying push him back, Danny, but Jacobs has been kind of in the retreat mode.
And in a sense, you know, that's what Jacobs needs to be doing, pushing him back with that jab, 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 and right hand.
Hey, Dan, you letting him load up.
Okay.
He loading up on that right hand. Huh? No.
Okay.
He loading up on side that right hand. He just trying to walk in and throw it over. You got to throw him some feints. Keep him on angles. You can't stand in front of him. All right? Don't stand in front of him. Give him some easy shit.
He ain't doing nothing that we talking
Don't
about.
stand in front of him.
Right here, baby.
Right
Right
here.
here. Right where you want.
Don't stand.
This is very simple. This guy's an ABC fighter. After that, he's lost. That's gonna work, man. You got much more experience. You gotta go to work. Let your hands go. It's all or nothing. It's all or nothing. I don't want hair. I should have did this hair. No, we doing it right tonight. All right? Let's go. Double, triple the jab. It's gonna work, baby.
Pretty good tongue lashing from Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, and it kind of speaks to what we had heard from the Smith camp about some of these losses that he's had, where he felt, you know, I didn't do enough and this and that. Like Eddie said, I don't want to hear that. Let's do it.
He's right. This is the time to do it. I mean, you know, most boxers feel bad after a fight because they feel they didn't do enough work in there, but this is a telling time. This is the time you have to do the work. Feeling sorry for yourself after is not the way to go out.
Ishe was favored to win the $1 million prize on the original Contender Series and failed to do it, was upset. And tonight trying to upset Danny Jacobs, you see Jacobs' temperament there, which is encouraging if you're a Jacobs fan, is Ishe landed a hard shot, Jacobs came right back.
Both exchanged big shots. Smith claims that the whole Contender thing actually turned out poorly for him because He went in overconfident and
felt that he should have won.
Felt that he should have won, but he didn't.
See, Jacobs should really hold his ground a little, because, you know, Ishe Smith's not really doing anything. All he's doing is walking forward, and Danny Jacobs is walking back, and he doesn't need to.
Saw it in the Walton fight. It was the first time as a pro someone really had any kind of effective pressure at all on Jacobs, and he seemed content to lean against the ropes and counter. And here, his disposition on a, you know, when he was fighting less than world-class opposition, he was a terror. Here you see his natural temperament may be more of a counterpuncher, a guy who rides shots back and counters with his own.
Jacobs turns around Smith. A couple right hands to the head, left hand to the body. Smith dips away for more danger.
After Jacobs throws that combination, he kind of relaxes a bit too much, especially with the right hand, and he's too close to Smith at that point.
According to CompuBox, Jacobs has thrown 242 punches to 105 for Smith.
See where Jacobs is holding that right hand, he needs to hold it a little bit higher because he's getting caught with that left hook.
Stop! Hit me in my thigh. Watch on the inside, okay? I don't want to take the point away.
Smith using the old-time tricks, hitting a guy in his thigh, allowing him not to move around the ring so easily.
Slapping right by Smith caught Jacobs in the face.
Time!
They throw haymakers, and Lawrence Cole's got to get in between them.
Come on, Smith. Let's just go back. Don't waste energy here. Come on.
All right, fellas, you got 3 minutes each round to do the fighting.
No fucking respect. The bell ring, you go right on this motherfucker, let your hands go. Okay. You're waiting too fucking long. Okay. He's standing in front of you. Stop looking at him. Let your hands go. Okay. When you throw punches, you're scoring big time. Stop looking at him. Okay. He ain't got 3 arms. He's just human, just like you. Let your fucking hands go.
And here's a look that happened at the end of the round. This is called protect yourself at all times. Although the referee called stop, you still got to put your hands up.
Ishe, it looks to me, thought maybe Jacobs threw a late punch, but really I think that was about Ishe using something to psych himself up in order to throw caution to the wind and really attack Jacobs with some urgency. And Jacobs, for his part, just stared Ishe down.
Again, round number 4. Let's check in with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
Okay, Bob. 29-28. 2 rounds to 1. Danny Jacobs. You know, Bob, in round 1, Danny Jacobs clearly outworked Ishe Smith. In round 2, Ishe started to move his hands, and somehow or another, when he lands that left hook, it looks like he's doing a lot more damage than Jacobs is doing. Round 3, again, Danny Jacobs outworked him. But, Bob, I got to say something. When they have that 10-second warning at the end of a round, that's a signal for the referee to jump in, get ready, and when the bell rings, you know, you're right in the middle between the 2 fighters, so they can't fight after the bell. Lawrence Jacobs was a little slow in round 3. 2-1, Jacobs.
And Jacobs is doing what I wanted him to do from round 1, really. He needs to go forward and, you know, get it going, because he's a much sharper puncher. He's got good skills and needs to get his jab and right hand going. Combinations going like he is.
Smith trying to use what happened at the end of round number 3 to get himself a little bit more intense. His corners wanted that intensity from him. Good right hand to the body by Jacobs.
If Ishe's intention is to psych Jacobs out, that doesn't seem to be working. Maybe he's trying to get Jacobs to open up more and tire himself out. And Ishe's plan maybe is to take it to him in the later rounds. And that seems to be an improvised plan, because Eddie Mustafa Muhammad in the corner keeps imploring Ishe just to attack.
Jacobs lands a nice left inside.
Ishe's throwing a left hook, but it's more of a slapping hook. It's not really doing anything.
Despite that sense of bravado from the end of the last round and the start of this round, Smith really not doing a lot. He shakes his head, says, I'm not hurt, but he's not throwing punches. Jacobs has thrown 40 more punches in this round.
You know, I thought with Ishe Smith that he came in kind of tight, and he needs a couple rounds to loosen up, but he still seems a little tight to me. Throwing some good, strong punches in there.
There's a lot to like from Danny Jacobs so far. You see the natural ability. You see he has a fighter's disposition. You see he's not afraid to mix it up. On the flip side, kind of easy to hit with a left hook against a shorter guy.
Well, that's just some technical things he needs to go back in the ring and work on. But right now he's doing pretty well. Now he's resting, but as far as his punch rate, he's throwing a lot of punches in there.
Time!
End of round 4 in this scheduled 10-rounder between Danny Jacobs and Ishe Smith.
Good round.
You want that?
Oh, yeah, you got that one. Clear.
5 in the bag? Or 5 coming up? Good.
All right, sharpshoot him a little bit more.
Use your speed, Danny. Your quickness.
And you're not looking for those body shots.
Look.
Okay. Stop making this guy be a Superman. Let your hands go.
Sure, you down 4-0.
Double and triple your jab.
I got it.
You got to go to work.
I got it, y'all.
Okay, well, let's go to work.
Show me your stuff, baby.
You got to go to work now, all right? Hey, you hear what I'm saying?
He's an amateur, man. I'm a
Well,
veteran.
let's go to work then.
He's already
Let's
getting
go
tired.
to work.
Take him out there.
I got it.
Let's go to work. So let's get them hits, Shane.
Round 5 underway for Danny Jacobs and Ishe Smith. No knockdowns in the fight to this point. Through the first 4 rounds, Jacobs has thrown 200 more punches. That is a wide disparity, according to CompuBox, in a 4-round sample.
See, this is where Danny Jacobs can't allow himself to be, because Ishe Smith throws some powerful punches and he has no place to move, and he doesn't want to be in the place of any punches. So he needs to keep his hands up and stay away from the ropes.
All right, so you're Danny Jacobs right now, and you know that really the only punch that Ishe Smith has been able to land relatively effectively is that left hook. Sometimes it's a little wide, sometimes it slaps, sometimes it's good. How do you avoid it?
Well, it's easy to avoid a left hook. Just keep your right hand paced to the side of your face, and you know any punch that guy's throwing, if he's going to throw a left hook, it's not going to hit you.
Don't push off.
The left hand thumps off the head of Smith. I think there's a cut on the right eye of Smith. See if we can get a better look at it. Well, he pawed at the eye, but evidently no cut there. Alex, what could Smith do to sort of change the tempo? I mean, everything's kind of the same. He tries to load up with a couple big hooks, then Jacobs does what he does, and Smith not being overly effective.
Well, Smith needs to go right to that body like he is. He needs to really work on that body, because once he works on the body, then he can bring it more upstairs. He's just going upstairs. He's being a headhunter right now, and most of his combinations should really go to the body, then the head.
You know what's impressive about what Jacobs just did and what he continues to do is he's a big guy, size, speed. Ishe Smith's an experienced guy, smaller. He can fight on the inside, and yet Jacobs is out-fighting Ishe on the inside. It's impressive for a rangier fighter to do.
Rare jabs from Ishe Smith. See the real-time numbers from CompuBox. Good combination by Smith. Hurt Jacobs. He walked right into a combination.
The right hand hurt him.
Time!
The bell sounds to end round 5. Ishe Smith still punching. What's he thinking?
We throw a punch at the end of the round, but I'm trying to do everything I can. Okay?
Hey, listen, keep your composure.
Don't make me take a point away.
Okay, bro.
All right?
Keep your composure. Hey, everybody.
I'm on it.
Listen, relax. All right? Keep your composure. Listen, you hear what I'm saying? Listen, when a bell rings, give me 3 good hard jabs. Step it in. Go right on him. Right on him. 3 or 4 jabs. All right? You hear what I'm saying? Go right on him.
Here's Ishe throwing a good right hand. That was one. That wasn't the one. This is the one.
Yeah, left-right combination, Lennox.
Yeah, it was disguised by Ishe jab, and a right hand came out after that. But Jacob seemed to shake it off pretty well, and that's the way you do it. You got to use your legs.
Come here. You know,
no
Danny
more games,
Jacobs.
guys. All right, time in, box.
Danny Jacobs threw a late shot. Did not look intentionally late. Ishe responded with 3 consecutive intentionally late shots, and there was no disciplinary action taken.
And then the forearm to the neck while he was against the ropes.
There was. He actually walked over to the corner and said something to him. Said if you do that again, he's going to take away a point.
Yeah, no kidding. If you hit a guy 3 times after the bell.
Let's see if Smith can hurt Jacobs again.
It was a bullying tactic by Ishe, where maybe trying to show Jacobs that he's the bully in there. He won't allow himself to be bullied, but it seemed excessive. And it seemed at the time unwise, given that he had just hurt Jacobs.
No, it wasn't an unwise move, and you know, sometimes that happens. Some of these guys get a little hot-headed, and that's why referee's in there. He's supposed to control all the action.
Guess that the last round shows, even if Jacobs can have his moments on the inside, maybe not the best place to be against a smaller fighter.
I think Jacobs took a little lapse there. He wasn't focused like he should have been. And in this game, you got to be focused all the time. One little lapse, you know, can make history or create history.
That left again.
See, every time Danny Jacobs gets hit a good shot, he is usually up against the ropes, and you know, this is where he doesn't need to be. He does all his best work in the center of the ring.
Jacobs places a shot to the body.
Stop! No punching.
You know, Ishe's being pretty smart in there. He's trying to lead Jacobs to the ropes and then sees that opportunity.
Stop! Stop! All right.
No, he said,
last warning, all right?
Just then, that's not the time for a warning. As the ref yelled stop, even the second time, Jacobs' punch was already on the way. That's not a good warning there.
Jacobs shot a straight right hand there.
The fighter, if he has a hand free, unless he hears otherwise, is supposed to use that hand.
By Smith. Lennox, it's amazing how Jacobs, even when he's not really being pressured that much, winds up with his back to the ropes.
Hit him right here on that clinch, all right?
He doesn't realize that he doesn't need to do that. But, you know, this is what experience does for him. See, he's throwing his punches and keep putting down his hands. Every time you throw your punches, you got to come back with defense. Put your hands up, and defense is very important.
Yo, Danny, look at me. Stay off the ropes. Only time he'll catch you if you're going to look at you, the ropes make you pull back. Stay off the rope. You won't pull back.
You giving him. Come on, baby. Hey, stop playing. Stop playing. They don't like it here. Stop playing.
Round 7.
I need these last 4
Ishe
rounds.
Smith has been on the receiving end of 544 punches through 6 rounds as we take you inside punch zone. These are the punches that have been landed on Smith, and you see that all the punches going to the head. Jacobs has worked the body. I mean, those are still good numbers to the body, but when you look at the head shots, I mean, that's pretty impressive. 103 punches of the 554 have landed to the head.
Come on, all the way back. Come on, Smith.
Good
So,
accuracy.
All the way
Just
back
shows
to your
that,
corner.
you're not using
You're
the
gonna start
defense like
there.
you're supposed to,
Bounce.
or even moving your head. You need to move your head a bit more.
Let's check in with Harold Letterman.
Okay, Bob. 58, 56, 4 rounds to 2. Danny Jacobs. You know, Bob, I thought Ishe Smith won that 5th round with that huge shot at the very end of the round. You know, and he sort of slightly staggered Danny Jacobs. But other than that, Danny's been controlling his fight because, like you said,
Right on the
just
hip, man.
too
You gotta quit
busy.
doing that. That's your last warning. I've given you 3. All right? Last warning. All right? Box.
Ishe Smith doing that old style again, hitting the guy on the hip. But the referee says he doesn't like it. Don't do it, else he'll take a point.
As usual, Harold has an excellent scorecard, and I can see where Jacobs is up in the fight for the reasons Harold pointed out. But Ishe Smith has succeeded in turning this into the kind of fight Jacobs didn't want, a sloppy kind of brawl and an uncomfortable fight for Jacobs.
But really, isn't this, guys, what Jacobs needs? They're not going to all be pretty as you move up the ladder and get into better competition.
See, Jacobs is getting caught because he throws his punch, but he forgets about defense. You need to put your hands up and bring them back.
And that speaks, Bob, to your point, which is a good one. It's the job of the matchmaker. It's a thankless and difficult job to match your prospect at difficulty levels where he learns something without sustaining the loss. But the outcome of this fight is still in doubt at this point.
And for Ishe Smith, Max, the stakes are totally different. Here's a guy that, 21-3, he's 31. He's here to test Jacobs, but a loss puts him well into the opponent cycle, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'd say he's already in the opponent cycle, and that's why he's in against Danny Jacobs. But he is a dangerous opponent, and he's showing why tonight.
Right hand thumps to the top of the head of Smith. Smith counters back. The shot lands his left.
This is where Jacobs really should take a step to the side and show Smith some different angles. Jacobs using that opportunity just to rest a little bit. It's pretty smart. You throw a combination, then you hold the guy and let the referee separate you, and which gives you enough time to get your breath back.
And there twice, Jacobs found his back on the ropes, and when he felt them there, bounced off the ropes, as per his corner's instructions.
Jacobs continues to throw a lot of punches. 94 in that round to the 48 for Smith, according to CompuBox.
Take a deep breath.
Nice and relaxed.
Take a deep breath. Keep on boxing. Stay off the ropes, champ. Stay off the ropes. The ropes is your enemy.
Rinse.
All right?
Come on, baby,
Rinse this one. Stay off the rope.
All right, you got to dictate.
Okay? Let it go. All right, let it go. You got to dig. They're not going to give you nothing. You got to go take it. You got to take it. Let's go to work. Let's go to work now. Let's go to work, all right? You hear what I said?
I got you.
Let's go.
No matter how much you know,
Coach is out. Let's go, Coach. Fight on back.
So far in this fight, according to CompuBox, Jacobs has thrown 638 punches to Smith's 301 through 7 rounds. It's 91 per round to 43 per round. Unless you're laying huge bombs on your opponent, that's not going to get it done for Ishe Smith. Again, nice. Jacobs just circled right back into a corner to start the round.
Some boxers do that. They like to keep their back on the ropes, and it's not necessarily the best thing to do. Some form bad habits that way, but Jacobs not really getting hit too much. It's not really affecting him too much. I think he's just playing right now.
He also is not really digging. He's throwing his left. He's using it, Jacobs. That's the hand he'd injured. but he's not really punishing Ishe on the way inside with a left hand, and so Ishe is not dissuaded from running in. The punishing shots Jacobs are throwing is usually the right hand.
See? Jacobs has got that right hand down, very dangerous. Especially he's ducking and he's not looking where he's ducking with his hands down. Dangerous move. Has to be careful.
Corner of Smith yelling, work, work, work. Just not getting enough work out of Smith. Smith with that left hand. Jacobs digs back in.
I would not categorize this performance by Ishe Smith so far as one of these typical underwhelming performances by him. I think he's giving it a very good effort. He's in with a much younger, bigger, faster guy, and he's certainly holding his own.
Ishe's throwing some good punches, solid punches.
Lex, that seems to be a weakness of Jacobs, what he did right there. He kind of leans almost right into it.
Yeah, I mean, Jacobs has a balance problem that he needs to work on because it really affects some of his punching, and he gets hit.
Should he go on to win the fight, though, Bob, as you point out, some invaluable experience so far, having been hurt and really pressured and roughed up in this fight. And cut. See over the right eye.
End of round number 8, scheduled for 10.
He's cutting. Hey.
Look, check it out. You got to stay off the rope, champ. Do you hear me?
Yep.
Stay off the rope. It's a close round, but stay off because you was on the rope. Stay off the ropes, roll out. Let your hands go.
Danny, you
Your
got to pay
speed is your
attention,
power,
Bob.
champ.
You're not doing what we
Speed is
worked
your
on.
power.
You're taking the food out your kid's mouth. All right? He ain't gonna do it. Let's go to work. He's dead out. He's cut. Dead out. Nuts and guts now. Right?
Water on my head.
Water on his head.
Water on my shoulders.
On the shoulder. Come on, baby.
Okay.
Okay, we can do this, right?
Uh-huh.
Let's go to work.
Balls to the wall.
Leave it all in this ring. Leave it all in this ring tonight, all right? Let's go. Come on, baby, you can do it.
Defense, punch off the block. He's trying to load up on you.
Stay back.
Round number 9 underway. Danny Jacobs out of Brooklyn, 17-0 with 15 knockouts.
Interesting advice in Jacobs' corner. Tighten up your defense, punch off the block. Clearly saying they don't want him to take the initiative. They want him to counterpunch.
And for Jacobs, in his 18th pro fight, this is the first time he's gone past 8. He went 8 in each of his last 2. Tries to continue to build his resume. Smith steps in with a combo.
You know, Jacobs has a lot of volume in his punches, but you know most of his punches are pitter-patter, and he's scoring the points. Ishe Smith, there's a lot of power behind his punches, a lot of snap, and you can tell, you know, he's not wasteful with his punches.
Has he been too economical though?
Yeah, he's been a bit economical on his punches, especially on his combinations. You know, he should have been throwing a lot more body punches.
Ishe seems to be trying to catch Danny Jacobs in between punches and land some, you know, one of those big left hooks or the right hand that he hurt Jacobs with in between Jacobs' flurries. may not be the worst idea, considering Jacobs has, through most of the fight, been the quicker fighter.
And Ishe Smith has better balance than Jacobs. That's why he can throw good punches, because his weight is evenly spread. See that his feet are firmly on the ground when he's throwing his punches. You know, you look at Jacobs, his feet is in front of him, he's moving all around, he's crossing his feet, he's bringing the back foot forward, he's crossing.
There's a left hand from Smith. Again, it's been a punch that's landed. Just missed with a roundhouse right.
And there you see Jacobs' temperament. Maybe not the smartest thing in the world when he got caught clean and hard like that, and maybe he was stunned, but his basic disposition, fire right back and not let the play get taken away.
Right, he wants to get you back straight away. As soon as he feels that punch hit him, he wants to get it back. He doesn't like getting hit. Nobody likes getting hit.
-1. -1.
Ishe Smith's losing a point.
Seems like I think he said something to the... I need to see a replay on that.
There's a punch after the bell.
That's the last round. You got to knock him out. You got to get that point back. All right? Let's go to work. They're going to try to take it by 1 round. They're going to try to take it. I got to get this round back big. Big.
Roll out, roll out, roll out.
Come on.
Don't pull out. When you back him up, you see he can't do shit, right?
Yeah.
When you get in there back him, you keep him back up.
Let's look at the end of the round.
Time! Stop!
And you hear the bell
Stop!
before he
Time!
throws that, well before he
-1.
throws that right hand.
-1.
You know,
-1.
it's arguable. You know, he was in the midst of throwing a combination.
I don't think that was as bad as the many shots around the hips and legs that Ishe has been intentionally throwing, and the moment where he threw the 3 punches after the bell.
10th and final round. Our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman. How do you have it, Harold?
Okay, Bob. 7 rounds to 2. 88-82. Danny Jacobs. You know, Bob, up to this point, I thought Danny Jacobs was always a power puncher. 17 fights, 15 knockouts. In this fight, he's boxed a beautiful fight. He really has. Moves, uses that left jab, throws a million punches, throws a lot of combinations, totally outboxing a guy who is clearly a stronger puncher. I mean, Danny Jacobs has been very, very busy, and tonight he showed us a new dimension that I don't think he's ever shown us to this point before. I mean, he's winning it strictly on activity, clean, really nice boxing and clean punching. 7-2, Danny Jacobs.
We're in Houston, Texas, 10th and final round. Bob Papa, Max Kellerman, Lennox Lewis ringside, Danny Jacobs and Ishe Smith. 10-round middleweight showdown still to come. Malcolm Clausen takes on Robert Guerrero for Clausen's 130-pound title. And then it's Juan Diaz from Houston, Texas against Paulie Malignaggi, plus a very special tribute to Arturo Gatti, Alexis Arguello, and Vernon Forrest still to come.
Stop right!
I think Danny Jacobs did show a hint of this in his last fight against Walton. Showed some of this boxing ability, slipping and countering, and not always coming forward. It seems from this fight so far, should he go on to win, that he has a lot to be proud of and some stuff to work on. Lennox, as you mentioned, his balance and defense.
Yeah. You know, these are how you learn. You look back at your fights and you say, what could I have done better? And, you know, he will see some things that he could do better and he needs to work on. But as far as heart, he's got it. He's got that lion in him.
And he's got the athletic ability.
See, he's laying against the ropes. He's leaning back. Okay, he's finally putting that hand up there.
This is the first round of the fight that Smith, according to CompuBox, has thrown more punches than Jacobs.
Well, Smith, you know, he has a sense of urgency, especially in this last round, because he knows he has to try and do something unbelievable and come out with an unbelievable left hook to try and
Guys,
put Cooper down.
I think Smith has fought as well as he can, and I don't think he left anything here tonight. And he was saving his energy for this, and it wasn't enough.
There's the bell that ended. Very entertaining bout with Ishe Smith and Danny Jacobs. Does Jacobs remain undefeated? His corner thinks so.
I believe so.
Here are the judges that will score this fight. Raul Caillas Sr. from Houston, Texas. 42 title fights. Here the John Juarez fight, a draw. David Sutherland from Oklahoma, only 3 title fights. One of his notables, Juarez decision over Raheem. He scored at 113-111 for Juarez. And the third judge is Gail Van Hoy from Texas, 38 title fights. He had Diaz over Katsides, 116-112. Kind of in line with what we thought the scoring was.
Hey, shout out to Aviani and Co., my jewelers. Shout out to my family back at home.
And let's take a look at the final punch numbers. It was a busy night for Danny Jacobs, as you will see, throwing 888 punches over the 10 rounds. That's 88.8 per round. Even my Fordham math can get me there. 29%. He had the edge in connects to Ishe Smith, who landed, power shots and saved himself a little bit and really made it a very rugged fight for Danny Jacobs. And you get a look at the power numbers, and again, Jacobs had the edge, but that's where Smith did some of his better work with that left hook. But Jacobs landed at a good percentage at 39%, and Jacobs hit his jabs at 20% in this fight. And let's take a look at the final punch zone and get a look at what it looked like as we take you inside the punch zone for our first bout of the evening. We get a look at Oscar De La Hoya, Golden Boy Promotions, promoting this card tonight. And Danny Jacobs. Well, this is a good test for him. First test for him against a guy like Ishe Smith, who was rugged and gave him good work and was able to explode some areas that he's going to have to work on to continue. As we take you now to the punch zone. And you get a look at all those headshots that Ishe Smith was able to land, but that's to the left of what he did to Jacobs. Jacobs did a much better job of going to the body, as he was able to land 78 body shots. And then you take a look at the overwhelming number of punches to the head. And he was hurt during one of the rounds in the fight. He got staggered a little bit in round number 5 near the end of the round. All right, let's find out how the judges have it scored as we send it to our ring announcer, Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, with the vacant NABO title on the line, we go to the judges' scorecards. Gail Van Hoy and Raul Caillas both score the contest 96-93. David Sutherland has it 100-89. All to the winner by unanimous decision. Now the NABO middleweight champion from Brooklyn, New York, still undefeated, Daniel the Golden Child Jacobs.
Shortly after that win over Smith, Daniel Jacobs got caught by the rocket right hand of Russian puncher Dmitry Pirog and suffered his only career loss. Since then, he's scored his biggest win, complete recovery from a life-threatening form of bone cancer, and with a string of convincing wins in the ring, has put himself in position to fight the world's most feared power puncher, Kazakh knockout sensation Gennady Golovkin, live from Madison Square Garden on the night of March 18. Don't miss it on HBO pay-per-view.